here. Queenie had a peep over the right shoulder, and she's going to blow them away. But Northerly, Danny Miller pumping away, and Northerly wins the railway.
Welcome to Racing Rewind. Our panel will review and digest the Prime WA Saturday Thoroughbred meeting from 24 hours earlier. If you have an opinion, send a text to 0427 789 571.
Galaxy Star draws away from them. Pike Magician.
Yes, welcome to Racing Rewind. 12 of the best to get through. Lochie Taylor and Rylie Morgan. A very good morning.
Good morning, Mart, Rylie and listeners. Yes, mammoth program to review. It was a good day in the end there yesterday. Obviously, the feature of the day was a little lacklustre, the Ascot Mile, but I still thought there was good quality horse flesh going around yesterday, and I look forward to reviewing it all.
Good morning, boys. Yeah, 12 races on that program out there yesterday, so there's a fair bit to get through over the next 45 minutes.
Stuart's room.
Hardly anything to report of note, so we'll give that a miss in terms of the way the track was playing. Strong southwesterly breeze all day, and we've seen throughout this season, Rylie, when the rail is in that true to 1 metre position, the rail isn't the place to be, and that's the way it played yesterday.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't, I guess, impossible out there yesterday, but yeah, you did want to be you did want cover, and you did want to be making your runs down that middle part of the track.
Race number 1, the reliable Asset Maintenance Maiden over the 2100 metres.
Came to near rock the first to get going as Royal Law comes off the rail. Elijah One now goes up 4 deep. In behind them, Brown Morn. At the top of the home straight, the Candy Kid ranges up, grabs the lead from Fearless God. Elijah One is starting to quickly hit top gear, and at the 200 swept up, grabbed the leaders. Elijah One. It drew a length and a half to the Candy Kid, Bling Beach and Royal Law. Elijah One, though, kept going, is going to win the first. Elijah One home by about a half a length on the Candy Kid. Canellan's Legacy. It came late, so it made it very interesting.
Yeah, it was a good run, Canellan's Legacy. Spoke to Luke Fernie about that run into third, but a larger one winnings for Stefan Valhalla and Stephen Parnham.
Good win, 4th up, out to 2100 metres, had that conditioning run over 2000 metres last start, just peaked on its run in the final 100 metres down there at Bunbury, but yesterday a rock hard fit, lovely ride from Steve Parnham, was midfield with cover, had plenty of galloping room throughout, and from there found the line really well. What his ceiling is, I'm not sure, but now that Steph and Steve have been able to identify that the horse gets out over a trip, I wouldn't say a Class 1, Class 3 is certainly beyond him over this type of trip.
Yeah, completely agree, Lochie. I thought the ride was probably the main point for me. I thought where Stephen Parnham to take off when he did was superb, and that was a winning move in the end. And Canellan's Legacy, Marty, you make a good point too. This is a horse who I think, while she got a long way back there yesterday, this filly by Fiorente, and she hit the line hard. I think there's a win in her soon as well.
She'll be one of my horses to follow. I didn't think I'd be following a horse out of a 2100 metre maiden, but I just feel that she'll go around maybe even money, maybe $3 next start in this type of maiden over a trip. She'll be very hard to beat.
Race number 2, the Furphy Maiden over 1200 metres.
Queen. It's Magnachine, who now in the leads by a neck, is getting close to the favourite to third on the outside. Just Famous is ridden in third. Lightning Gold on the inside in fourth. Princess and Red about to peel deeper from Kamikaze. Shooter King and Queen is last, but Magnachine tries to drop them. The outside is to third. Here comes Just Famous on the scene quite quickly. Princess and Red down the outside. It's Just Famous to third, and Princess and Red descending down the centre. Princess and Red takes the lead off of Just Famous, and Princess and Red drawing clear late. Defeats Just Famous to third, Magnachine fourth. Lightning Gold.
Well done to young Alex Vlahos there, calling races 2 and 3. City debut. Very good race broadcast there indeed. It was Princess in Red. Tell us about it for Sean and Jake Casey betting Just Famous.
Really nice win this. This is obviously the half-sister to Dom to Shoot, Group 1 Northerly Stakes winner, and I love the ride here. The horse jumped really well, but Keshaw quickly summed up the situation whereby he thought that he was probably going to be posted on a limb out there wide if he elected to roll forward. So he rode the horse back. He was second last in running, followed Just Famous into the corner, and you can just see the type of filly she is in the final 200 metres really come to the fore. She has a big, long action, and it just really kicked in late. Love the win of this filly. I think she uses Saturday quality, and I'm excited to see where she goes to next, because it only looks like she'll improve over 1,400 metres potentially next start in a similar situation to her older brother.
Exactly right, and she's only had the 2 race starts now, Lochie, and we've seen her. She had a bit of a checkered passage there on debut at Pinjarra, hit the line nicely, and then to get that win yesterday. And we saw her lead in her trial before those two race starts and really kick away and do it dominantly from the top. So she's got that real versatility early in her career, which I think is going to help her benefit her greatly moving forward as well. Just Famous comes through that same form reference behind Made in Mexico, Marty, which is turning out to be a pretty hot form reference to be following from that race at Pinjarra. And Deferred was perhaps for mine a little bit disappointing there yesterday as favourite. Was sat outside leader in the run and I thought was there to win the race at the top of the straight, but the two horses that beat her home, this filly, were just better than her on the day.
Agree. I'm not sure what to do with both Deferred and Magnachine. As we've touched upon, it wasn't the place to be racing without cover close to the rail, but I still thought Deferred as the even money favourite had the right to give a bigger kick. They didn't set any records out in front there yesterday, so not sure. Perhaps she's pulled up with a little issue. Either way, I still think she's going to be a filly that we can be following moving forward, but yeah, yesterday was a little bit of a head-scratcher.
Okay, on to race number 3, and this was the Glenroy Chaff Maiden over the 1,200 metres.
By a neck now. The outside is Antique Star pulling deeper, Secret Attire. The inner passing the 400 is Bill Selects, then Devil's Eye, Faraway Bay, pushover. Cantilever under pressure, Sensational pulls to the outside with Cincinnati Duke looking for a run. It's My Hidden Universe, Antique Star up the inside, Bill Selects trying to finish on out wider is Faraway Bay, and here out wider is cutting them down, Sensational with a dazzling turn of foot. My Hidden Universe in front, here comes Sensational. Sensational takes the lead, claims My Hidden Universe, and Sensational wins, defeats My Hidden Universe, Faraway Bay. Then Devil's Eye, Cincinnati.
I like this win, Sensational. Good. What I liked about that call from Alex, he'd picked it before.
He picked it a while away.
He picked it early, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because I looked up and like, wow, still got a bit of ground to make up on this leader, My Hidden Universe, who'd kick for home. But
him and Chris Parnham were riding at home once he caught it early. No, he caught it very well, did our man Al. And I agree, Mart. Good win. Good win about this horse. And it's another horse that is actually a horse that Todd Harvey has selected, started in his career. Obviously, Todd has moved away from racing, and Grant and Alana Williams have been the big beneficiary of that because this horse looks like he has plenty of ability. Second up there yesterday. Flashed late first up, but there yesterday I thought he found the line really, really well. Interesting to note that he is a $50,000 Magic Millions purchase, obviously by Todd, as I just said. So with that race in a couple of weeks' time, I wonder if they put a nomination in. A reminder that nominations close for the 2-year-old and 3-year-old races tomorrow at noon, so be sure to get your nominations in. Speaking to Grant after the race, he said that he'd probably rather take a softer route and try pick off a lower-hanging fruit, I guess, in a midweek event. But the 3-year-old Magic Millions isn't generally the strongest race, and it's now worth $250,000, so it might be a potential path that the team consider over the next day or so.
And before he came back into work this preparation, the last time he was at the races in his initial campaign, Lochie, he got out over a mile, over 1,600 metres, this horse, and despite the fact that he was beating a margin, I thought he was really good, and so he's clearly a horse with some scope to get up over a bit more ground as well, which they can be picking off over the next couple of starts.
My Hidden Universe, the horse in second, will be a horse to follow as well. Yep. I thought that was a really good effort there yesterday, leading on that rail that wasn't the place to be, beaten under half a length about a horse that I'm touting could potentially go to a 3-year-old Magic Millions. It's in only its third start for the campaign. I think that's going to hold up really well as a form reference, and he'll be hard to beat. Anywhere between 12 and 1,300 metres, you know he'll make his own luck out in front. Hard to beat next start.
Horses that led or breezed there yesterday, Marty, that were able to go close at all are the horses you need to be following from the meeting.
On to race number 4, and this was a very important race. The 2-year-olds went around in the Andrich Cousins Race Day Plate.
Followed further back then behind them is What You Got. The tail ender approaching the turn is Goldmaker. At the 400, Maddie Girl led the stablemate. Golden Vale on the outside. Sinful Living running third. Over on the inside at the head of the others is Bubbles in Rio on straightening. Maddie Girl's the leader. Golden Vale is in pursuit. They're a length and a half clear. Sinful Living. It's Maddie Girl, Golden Vale. Golden Vale on the outside goes up at the 100 mark. Grabs the lead from Maddie Girl. Sinful Living down the outside. Coming with the run is Goldmaker. Golden Vale. Golden Vale's got home to win it. Golden Vale has won from probably the Stewart stablemates in Goldmaker on the outside, and also Earthstorm, who rattled at the line. Battle Commander.
Okay, this was a very interesting 2-year-old race indeed. Let's talk about it.
The best 2-year-old race of the season. I think we'll spend a little bit of time dissecting this one. Golden Vale, she's just so professional. We saw that on debut with William Pike aboard, and we saw that there again yesterday. It sounded like the camp thought that they might ride her with a little bit of cover there yesterday with the potential speed in the race, but she's just such a professional. She jumps so well, was outside the lead of the stablemate within a twinkling of an eye, and from there just travelled so well. Just wants to hang in once she straightens up and balances up, but Holly Watson was on her A game, ensured that the whip was in the left hand, and from there found the line really well. Obviously, we're reviewing this race with an eye on the Magic Millions over 1,200 metres in a couple of weeks' time. Yep. And I feel like people are really going to be obsessed with the horses finding the line really well. But she's just so professional. You know that now in a Magic Millions, if she draws well and the speed's on, she could take a sit in behind the speed, settle third or fourth. If she draws a fraction out, she could roll forward and settle outside the leader. For mine, she just looks bomb-proof, and she's going to go around favourite in the Magic Millions in a couple of weeks' time.
I agree, Lochie, and I think people will be drawn to the runs of Russell Stewart's pair in Goldmaker and Earthstorm. I think only Earthstorm can go to the Magic Millions of that pair, so Earthstorm's the only one we'll see in that race. But more merit, I think, has to be given to the win of Golden Vale yesterday, given she was in the breeze. First couple of races on the program, the horse that was in the breeze, Compounded, was beaten a long way. To do that in the manner that she did yesterday, I thought was really, really impressive. And while up to 1,200 metres, people are going to see the flashing lights back in the field, hitting the line strongly, needs more ground, I think that she's just going to be... She's very versatile, and she's going to be as effective at the 6 furlongs.
Absolutely. Goldmaker, we'll quickly touch upon, as you said, not Magic Millions eligible, but enormous at 100 to 1.
Wow.
Rusty Stewart has got a nice horse on his hands. Be interesting to see if he keeps him up in work or tips him out for a break and sets him for a Caracatta now. Third horse, Earthstorm, thought she found the line really well. I think she can settle handier with the benefit of a good gate. She didn't jump terribly yesterday. I do feel that with a better gate, she might be able to settle a pair or two closer, but without being too close. Sinful Living, she was okay, ridden for the sit for the first time. Still think 1,200 metres is going to stretch her. I feel like that may have been an experiment there yesterday with the speed on, that she can take a sit. It wasn't like she raced ungenerously or anything like that. So up to 1,200 metres, I think she'll be ridden in a similar manner. And I just feel like they're going to be really, really targeting that ladies' bonus. It's worth so much money. So that may be the plan with her, and in a similar sense, Maddie Girl, she's not a 1,200 metre horse either, but she's going to be in front for a while. Whether Simon Miller continues to head on that path, I'm not sure, but we know what we're going to get out of Maddie Girl.
Okay, we move on to race number 5, the Key Clean Handicap over the 1,400 metres. This is another interesting race to dissect.
450 from the judge now, and as they turn for home, Prince of Santos, ridden along, coming into the corner, leads Memory Parade, If I Didn't Have a Dime, third, followed then by Dr. J. Premium Girl given a taste of the Shillelagh. Prince of Santos led Memory Parade still with 200 left to go. Prince of Santos by a length, Memory Parade, Premium Girl, Dr. J, both coming on the outside. Memory Parade though hits the front. Premium Girl is cutting the margin down. Memory Parade, Premium Girl diving. Memory Parade on the inside might have scrambled in narrowly.
It was Memory Parade beating Premium Girl, Dr. J back in third, Prince of Santos fourth. So the horse in the breeze this time did hang on and win.
Certainly did. Just a really tough filly, Memory Parade. I think we've seen that in all 3 career starts to date. Obviously led and won on debut. She was a little unlucky last start. I just feel like the way to ride her is on speed. She's a nice big type of filly. Give her plenty of galloping room, and that's what she had there yesterday. A really positive ride from Maddie Derrick. Prince of Santos gave some cheek out in front as the leader, who was perhaps unsuited, but Maddie Derrick and Memory Parade, a really tough performance. It will be interesting to see what type of path Casey's plot for this filly moving forward. It wouldn't surprise me if a mile would be beyond her in time, so perhaps a race like the 1,000 Guineas over the next couple of months might be on the horizons for her, but really nice win and a tough performance. But Premium Girl, if you were on her, you probably thought you were home at the top of the straight, Rylie.
Absolutely. I think the ride early from the pond to get this horse, who many people, me included, expected her to be back last from the barrier that she had drawn, to get to Premium Girl 3 back, 1 off the fence. It looked as though maybe that was curtains for the race, because the way she's been winning down at Bunbury at a track which has been definitively hard to make ground out all season, and the manner in which she's been doing it is out of not many horses have been capable of doing so, Lochie. And I thought she looked the winner there at the top of the straight there yesterday, but credit to Memory Parade. She's a very, very tough filly.
It certainly is. Premium Girl, she just wanted to lay in over the concluding stages. If it's not for that, I think she wins the race. It's fair to say Paul Harvey, he got the whip through to the left eventually, but it just took him probably 20 metres too long to do so, and that may have cost him the race. So won't be dropping off her. Really nice filly, and Dr. J, I thought that was another honest run. The connections and Steph Fahala are going to have plenty of fun with him.
Going well, the team, Steph Fahala. Small team, going really well.
Always does. And Prince of Santos, as I said earlier, perhaps unsuited with the conditions of the day, wouldn't be dropping off him either.
Race number 6 was the National Pump and Energy Ascot Mile.
It's big screen, joined on the outside by Chevelle de Varga. Karamundi, who went a long way from home. Weapon Sun sits and bides its time. No run, Corn Cob getting off the heels of the tiring big screen. And then No Apology, Chevelle de Varga. It hit the front at the 300 mark. On the outside is Karamundi. Down the outside, No Apology. Getting a rails run, Weapon Sun, Karamundi, Chevelle de Varga, No Apology, Weapon Sun. But No Apology hits the front. It's No Apology. Gets away from Karamundi and No Apology. No Apology wins it first up. Gets home and well fancied. Beat Karamundi. Third close, Corn Cob, Weapon Sun
S
from
doing
Chevelle
what
de
S
Varga.
does.
Absolutely.
He's too clever. And Brad with the whip in the left. That's enough to get you up and about in the morning, isn't it?
Settle, man. Settle. You're having dreams about Brad Parnham again. No Apology. 56 days between runs. Credit has to be given to Lucy Warwick, Lucy Fury and Brandon Fury as well. They made the decision to get the horse back out of their system, give it back to S to freshen him up, and that's exactly what S was able to do. 56 days between runs at the mile. He looked like he needed every bit of the mile. Brad Parnham was really riding him vigorously around the home turn, and it looked like he might flash late into second or third, but once the horse balanced up, I think he was the big beneficiary of a horse like Karamundi peaking on his run late as a result of Alan Kennedy putting him into the race very, very early, and from there No Apology was the strongest horse late down the middle of the track. Good win. I suspect he heads towards the listed event in a couple of weeks' time, over 1,800 metres, and then progresses on that type of pathway towards our Country Cups.
Country Cups, yep, absolutely. It was well, they made a quid out of this yesterday, Marty.
Yeah.
What price did he open?
$26 was available for this horse, so they certainly had a nice result there. The punters that were able to get involved there, and No Apology, because he jumped $10, and I think he even got a little bit shorter than that at some stage as well, so there was certainly some really good money there.
Karamundi, the second horse, as we've touched upon, I think if Alan Kennedy had his time again, he would have waited much longer until around, 400, 500 metre mark. I think if he does, Karamundi wins that race. I don't think anybody is arguing against that, but the course is clearly going really, really well. The win 2 starts ago with Braden Garthboard was good, and the effort last start over 1,500 metres was really sound with Shooter aboard. I suspect he heads towards that 1,800 metre event next start as well. Wouldn't think it's a massive field. A horse like Black Fantasy potentially races in that type of event first up, but shouldn't be a deep race, so these types of horses potentially go around again, and they shouldn't be far away.
Corn Cob, good run. Also up for sale, I believe, Lochie.
$51,500 at the moment on the English online sale.
There you go.
The run yesterday would have certainly assisted in that.
Yeah, blinkers went on. He was a big improver. I think we've seen before, he's very, very versatile. He can lead, he can settle in behind the speed. In races without a big screen and Chevelle de Varga, he'll be much better suited. Big screen we should touch upon. He was sent back to the trials due to his poor performance, but he's been a wonderful horse for Justine Erklands and the Hammerquist family. He's a 6-year-old. He's had 37 career starts. I wonder if that might be curtains for him. He's been a wonderful horse for the stable.
Certainly has been.
You are listening to Racing Rewind on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Indy Ruler setting sail for the judge, a length and a half requisition. Vampire Play tracking right up on the inside. Indy Ruler's wobbled off. Indy Ruler went via the cape on the turn, straightens up about 4 or 5 off the fence, still leads Vampire Play. Requisition Forest War followed further back by No Dice. Indy Ruler down inside the last 100 is still clear. The charge is coming. Shaka Zulu defending a rattling home with Forest War, but it'll have just enough in hand. Indy Ruler won from the fast finishing Shaka Zulu. Defending leading Forest War. It's a photo for
Yeah,
third.
well, we spoke to
Empress
Luke
of India
Fernie
Ruler.
earlier on the program, and he's done a terrific job with this horse, Indy Ruler, turned him right around.
It certainly has. Just a really quirky animal. I really didn't feel he was capable of winning races like this. I thought that York 52 Plus may have been him, albeit was doing a lot wrong in doing so. To some extent, was back to his old tricks yesterday, but I think Jade McNaught has a really good handle on this horse, and that's been key for this horse's progression because she's been able to give really good feedback to Luke, and then from there they've been able to tinker with a little bit of gear, make those appropriate changes, and now we're seeing the fruits of that labour. But there yesterday, didn't have a horse to follow, and that's just such a big difference for this horse. Just jumped so well from that outside alley, found the front, and from there he just gets lost in front, so he wobbles out towards the middle of the track, which was probably better ground anyway, and from there he actually won really, really well. They really flashed late. Shaka Zulu almost got there, but Indy Ruler, he was always doing enough. He always looked like the winner, and you just know that when he finds another race where there's a genuine leader in the race that can roll along throughout and he can just park up outside him, he's going to be even harder to beat.
Completely agree. Jade's got a terrific handle on this horse. She's had her last 3 sits on him have been 3 victories, so clearly they get on very well, and she adapted beautifully to the conditions of the day there yesterday. The horse did roll off the fence a little bit, but she did also try and get him out to the better part of the track, better going on the day, and he was able to hold them off. And Shaka Zulu, great pipe opener for this horse, who's obviously still very lightly raced. It was a terrific first-up performance there yesterday, given off the back of the trial. We spoke on Thursday, Marty, that the trial was a trial that said maybe he might need the first-up run, so I thought that run there yesterday was terrific, and defending probably just a victim of circumstance there, with Luke being shuffled back to the fence, which wasn't the place to be on the day, and the way that this horse worked home along the inferior ground I thought was outstanding. He's come back in very good order this campaign as well.
Certainly has. Went around at $10. People were specking him at the price. I feel like he'll go around at another each-way price next start. I wouldn't be dropping off him. Swear to God, the disappointment of the race. Stepped slow. Many thought he would be the leader and Indy Ruler would settle outside of him. Wasn't to be the case, settled in behind the speed and was beaten almost 11 lengths. Interesting to note that SJ felt that the horse might not be suited to racing at Ascot, so get him away from Ascot, Pinjarra, Belmont, Bunbury and the like. He might return back to form because his last start win was good, albeit on a very leader-biased Pinjarra track.
Speaking of back in a bit of form, old Forest War.
Yeah, he was all right. Yesterday. Yeah, it was funny. Part owner Taylor Cortland, him and I own a small share. We spoke after the race. He said, gee, that horse actually looked like he tried today.
It was good.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. And the 3 horses that beat him, to be honest, Old Forest, they're pretty handy types.
They are.
One here from Lance wanting to know your thoughts on Vampy at play.
She's becoming a very difficult mare to catch for the punters, that is for sure and certain, Marty.
Drawn barrier 1, perhaps not suited, but yeah, I feel like this is her grade. She'll pick one of these up. But yeah, leave me out.
Race number 8, the Peters Investments Handicap over the 1,200 metres, one of the wins of the day.
With work to do, Comic Hero spotting the leader 7 or 8 lengths. At the 400, Big Day on it will set sail for home. Led by 3/4 Rear Admiral, they've kicked 2 in front now. From Evelina, Talangata, Regal Statue. Had to steady up, then Valsacina. Madame Magic, Comic Hero still last at the 200 markers. Rear Admiral races to the lead. Rear Admiral from Big Day on it, Valsacina. Down the outside, Madame Magic. Comic Hero, here comes Comic Hero and Valsacina. Comic Hero, Madame Magic. Oh, that's a mighty win. What a phenomenal finishing run by Comic Hero. He absolutely mowed them down from last at the 200 metre mark. Outstanding victory from either Madame Magic or Valsacina. Uncle Gerard, Big Day on it.
Outstanding and exciting. What a win.
Really good win, this one, Mart. Comic Hero, he put the writing on the wall last start. He flashed late in a race that wasn't suitable. There yesterday, he had conditions to suit. However, still had to do it. He was a mile off them at the 600 metre mark. He followed Madame Magic into the race. From there, I always felt that Comic Hero would be able to out-sprint the Pierce-trained mare, but I still didn't know if it was going to be enough. It was in the end. He just, the way he found over the last 200 metres, you can just see his head carriage. He looks like a really genuine type. He's a winner of 3 from 8 now, and I just feel like he's going to go through the grades really, really nicely. And it appears as though Simon Miller has a nice handle on him. He's not going to stretch him out in trip, keep him to 1,200 metres, just accept that he'll get back and he'll be flashing home late.
Plenty of strengths, good to see, good to hear as well. I think this horse is one that's certainly got some more wins in better company in store as well. And if you freeze, Marty, the frame, 150 metres to go like I've currently done right now, this horse is still 2 lengths last with 150 to go and has won by half a length.
Yep, ran home in 34.09, just has an outstanding turn of foot, and Simon Miller is training him for that. Madame Magic, the second horse, she's flying. I think she's come back really, really well. Another great run yesterday, just bumped into one better. Valsicina, solid, albeit she's a tricky horse to follow. I noticed in her last start effort where she was unlucky, it was perhaps a little tricky to see. She just has a real tendency to want to lay in, and I think that's going to just hold her back a fraction. A horse I'm really keen to follow, however, is Uncle Jared. He's only a 62 rater. He was unlucky not to finish closer there yesterday in running 4th. He can drop back to a Class 1, maybe even a Class 3 next start and be awfully hard to beat. Loved his effort. Jason Pateman's team's going well. Speaking
of quirky horses, Uncle Jared would certainly fit the bill as well, I reckon, Lochie.
Yeah, he would. He was just unsuited there yesterday. He drew out, and I just feel like he was bullied towards the fence. Chris Parnham said, nope, I'll be following Madame Magic. And from there, Austin Gallardi went towards the rail, perhaps unsuited there, wasn't beaten far at all, and the fact that he's eligible for easier races, he'll be one of my horses to follow.
Valsicina did it pretty tough as well there yesterday. I thought there's another win in store for her moving forward. I'll be forgiving of that run yesterday. Even though she was good, she also did things pretty tough, 3 deep, no cover.
And Patron of Kings, he was awfully unlucky, just never had any galloping room throughout. He'll be better suited at 1,400 metres second up. He'll be one to follow.
First up, had to be in his bonnet behind the barriers. He looked very fresh and...
That is just him as well.
Is that him as well, is it?
Yeah, stable name Marty. So
yeah, Regal Statue was wanting to over-race badly during the run. Bunch finish, only 3.73 for the 10 horses. No concerns?
Maybe a concern, but the fact, as Rylie outlined, Comic Hero was 2 lengths off them with 200 or 150 metres to go, and a horse like Uncle Jared, who I'm keen to follow, is eligible for much easier races, so it shouldn't matter.
Chris Parnham looked like he had a real handle on how the track was playing in the day, didn't he? Go to race number 9, the Amelia Park Handicap.
No more than 5 lengths covers the field. They're jamming up tight, 400 to go. Filthy Habits, Bandolier, Boa on terms with each other. 1.5 lengths, Royal Gap. National Guard gets a rails run. Alaskan Let's Go chimes in. Kia Ora Jewel still running on. Speak to Me further back, making ground in front of Cisco Joe. Bandolier, Boa joined by Alaskan. It's Alaskan at the 100 mark, racing up, grabs the lead. Alaskan now starts to extend. Filthy Habits, Bandolier, Boa and Kia Ora Jewel. He goes from a maiden, and he wins in better company, Alaskan, today. Alaskan goes back-to-back and beats Filthy Habits, Bandolier, Boa and Kia Ora Jewel.
Just in case you need some advertising before the big sale for Playing God, Alaskan carries the flag.
If Nifty needed a little bit of more money to pay, what is it, 42 Playing Gods that he'll be looking to buy in the Perth Magic Millions.
He'll go close.
Alaskan, really good win this. He just had shades of his older brother, Alaskan Gold, when he was really up there firing in those concluding stages where Chris had his whip through to the left hand. I thought, I've seen this before, but it was a lovely ride from Chris. Just the step from 14 to 18 really suited this horse. You could see the manner in which he travelled from, I'd say, the 600 to the 350 metre mark. He just travelled really, really well, brought out to the middle of the track and just found the line nicely. Obviously, Neville has some thinking to do in regards to how he plots a path towards the WATC Derby with that race on April 13. So whether he gives him a little freshen up now or continues on and just races him through and just allows the racing to get this horse up to the mark, I'm not sure, but either way, he's clearly going to be one of our leading contenders heading towards our big 3-year-old autumn feature.
Yep, absolutely, and that's exactly what Chris said once he hopped off this horse post-race, Lochie. When you or Scotty were chatting to him, he said this horse is, without a doubt, he's a stayer.
So. Filthy Habits was good.
Yeah, very good. Very good. I think you have to pay huge respect to the horses that were able to lead on that fence and really fight on and run into the money there yesterday. And Filthy Habits was certainly one of those. A bit of the one from the Justin Warwick copybook there in the ownership group. The quick backup. I think it was the third week in a row this horse has backed up. And he was outstanding last week. Was never better than 4 wide, no cover throughout. And was still, I thought, really coming at them through the line again over the 1,500 metres to back up off the 7 days off such a big performance and reproduce in the manner in which he did yesterday. He's a horse who's certainly got some more wins in store.
Absolutely. A few punters were keen on the chances of Queen Nardi. Didn't settle in the position you wanted to be throughout. She was hemmed away on the fence. When you had a big Alaskan to her outside, you just knew that Clint Johnson-Porter was never really going to be in a commanding position, and from there made her run in perhaps the inferior part of the track, but might not be quite ready for this grade either.
We were having this debate yesterday, Marty, and you can also weigh in on it as well about Queen Nardi, the run that she had there yesterday, and the discussion point was when Clint Johnson-Porter, you could see through the early parts of the race there, Lochie, he was intending on holding that spot 1 off the fence, and he really wanted to hold that spot, but he didn't have a horse to his inside, so there was no horse inside him on the fence, and he had a horse 3 deep, no cover, trying to push him in. Is it a very difficult thing to do when there isn't a horse to your inside to hold that horse out there 3 deep, no cover, rather than get shuffled back into the fence when there isn't something to give you that, I guess, that leverage to stay off it?
It depends who's riding.
It does, but it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. If you
Because it almost looked as though he was, I'm going to hold this spot, and then it got to a point where he thought, it's just too hard.
And Clint is also from the school of William Pike, where he's happy to beat 3 back the fence, even if the track isn't playing that way. He just goes, yep, sweet, I'll ride for luck, and more often than not, he'll get out of that pocket and it'll be fine. To be honest, I don't think it made a difference to Queen Nardi's performance.
I agree.
People need to realise Queen Nardi was still beaten 4 lengths and never, ever travelled like the winner. So, yeah, that's probably my opinion in regards to that.
Yeah, no, just a disclaimer was that I don't think she was winning the race regardless of the run, but it was just a discussion point where some are of the opinion that maybe.
Yeah,
exactly.
Race number 10, the Bisley Workwear Handicap. It was over the 2,200 metres. A very good win this.
Can tell nothing out by 2 to Blue Card. Tiff's Lad. Manavendra next. In behind them, Atlantis Beach, followed by Burnbrae on the rail. Then came I Love Your Smile. Looked to be coming to the end of its run. Beats of War into the clear sets after those. Then Sluice Box, followed further back Captain Pluto. Manavendra races up near the middle of the course. Goes to the lead. Tiff's Lad tries to go with it. Beats of War's a length and a half away. Manavendra, Tiff's Lad coming back tooth and nail. Tiff's Lad's regained the lead. Manavendra, Beats of War. It could beat them all. Beats of War on the outside goes to Tiff's Lad and got it. Beats of War. Beats of War goes home. Makes it a treble of wins. Scores from Tiff's Lad and tight for third. Sluice Box or Atlantis Beach.
Good win, good ride, Brad Parner. Well-trained Darren McCall. Beats of War. Double for War chant on the day too. Beats Tiff's Lad, Manavendra. Sluice Box in fourth. That would have made you happy. And then what are we doing with Captain Pluto back in sixth, boys?
I don't know. I'll leave that to you, boys. Beats of War, though. Good win. 3 in a line. Just love the way Darren McAuliffe is training this horse. He just really appreciates high tempo staying events, and that's what he's received in his last few starts. And they really wanted to set some records out in front, and from there, this horse just relished that. Brad Parnham had him in a comfortable position throughout. Didn't go chasing the speed too early like a few of the jockeys did at around the 800 metre mark. Travelled really nicely, had the back of Manavendra, and from there looked like the winner from the top of the straight. However, the second horse in Sharon Miller's Tiff's Lad was very, very brave. I think he's added another string to his bow getting out over these type of trips, and perhaps another win is in store for Tiff's Lad because he's going really, really well.
Yeah, certainly has. It's been almost a remarkable couple of starts for this horse who you thought wouldn't run out these sort of trips. No. And then all of a sudden he's put in a career best almost performance there yesterday over the 2,200 metres. So yeah, certainly a horse who I think obviously carrying the lightweight 53 kilos has certainly helped Lochie in that regard, but he's going super at the moment. Don't think much more needs to be said about the winner. Very impressive Beats of War. This horse is absolutely going great guns for Darren McAuliffe at the moment. And Manavendra was probably the other one, Lochie, that loomed like he was going to have a big say in that finish and maybe just peaked on his run a little bit late. Yep. 59 kilos maybe took its toll. 7-day backup off a big performance last weekend in a strong run race as well was maybe a factor into that too.
I agree. I think maybe the 59, but more so I just feel like he essentially just lobbed in the position he did, but that tempo that he somewhat had to chase, I thought may have undone the horse. He still has the tendency to over-race, so I can understand where Clint just wanted to allow him to be in a comfortable position throughout. But at these types of trips, perhaps ridden a little quieter, off the speed in a similar way that he was ridden last start, and he won by a length ahead of Come a Little Bit Closer. Perhaps that's the way to ride him moving forward. But in saying that, you're not going to see tempos like that too often. They really set them alight in the early stage of the race.
And I think that's maybe also plays into why the disappointment around in the run of Captain Pluto as well with that tempo they did roll along at. I thought that he was entitled to finish off a bit better than he did yesterday. So it's interesting to see what they do with him or whether they tip him out and give him a spell now after that run there.
He has been in work for a little while. I know, Mark, you raised the point that in a similar sense to Casino 17, they just really raced the horse in his first preparation that Grant Alana had with him just to iron out any chinks that they thought needed to be ironed out. They've perhaps done the same with Captain Pluto. And as we've said before on this show, the horse has good wet track form. So perhaps now is the time to give the horse a little break. You know, he can have a month or two off and still be back for June, July and go through his grades then when the tracks have a little bit of sting out at Belmont.
10 away from 9 o'clock, Racing Rewind. We're up to race number 11, the Morley Growers Market Handicap over the 1200.
Leniency is in the middle. Then Featherweight, who's in that 3 deep line. Harmika angling off heels. Red 53 is next. And Cashaway still at the rear of the field. Around the corner, Flying Missile, State of Power. They went out to the big good ground out near the middle of the course. They're fighting it out. Premium Choice gets a run. Ollie's Choice down near the rail. Capital Flight. Here's Nahachi, Featherweight. Have a look at this for a finish. And getting up inside of those now, Red 53. Oh, Red 53 driving through inside of Leniency. Grabs the lead. And Red 53, brilliant piece of riding. And there's another one for Chris Parnham. That's 4 for the day. Red 53 beat Leniency. And behind
another exciting win, wasn't it? Red 53. What a good return to racing there. Gave the second horse Leniency 3.5 kilos. And what a win.
When you're riding well, things go your way, and Chris Parnham was just in some form yesterday. Wow, he's riding well. Red 53, ridden cold from that alley. The speed was on early. This horse is versatile. He can settle on the speed if they want to, but with the way the track was playing, with the way that he was drawn out, just rode for luck, I guess. I think going into the race, Chris would have thought that he would have come down the middle of the track, tracked into the race 3 wide with cover, but he simply didn't have the horse underneath him when he needed to. From the 600 onwards, he was in some real trouble, so just elected to ride for some luck, and the gaps came. It was the ride of the day. It was an exciting win, and the horse got out to a really nice price in the end. At about 2 minutes before they jumped was $6, then backed into $5, but I think there were a few owners and a few punters there on course yesterday that had a very, very good result on this horse, who looks like he has plenty of ability.
Yeah, the riding was on the wall for him off the back of that trial at Larkhill. The trial was outstanding. And look, the horse, he did get out to an attractive price, but there's a lot that can go wrong from that sort of barrier for a horse that can get quite headstrong at times. Lochie, Red 53, we know he's a horse that can get keen in the run. He dropped the bridle yesterday at the 600. He looked like he was in a bit of trouble, as you touched on, and the way this horse finished off, we're going to see this horse win a nice race moving forward. I think it's going to be in a stronger quality of race than just a ratings race like he won there yesterday.
Well, he was an 80 rater going into yesterday. He goes to an 84 after yesterday's win. Pinjarra Classic, Bunbury Stakes, they aren't too far away. Whether that's a bridge too far, I'm not sure. I just think there's going to be...
be competitive.
He'll be at one stage of his career where they just have to say, okay, we need to bite the bullet.
You're in the big league.
You go to those big races and we'll find out if you're up to it. The way he's winning at the moment, I think, suggests that. I love the comments of Chris Parnham post-race, actually. I thought it was a really good insight in regards to the fact that this horse still wears earmuffs, and he just feels that perhaps sometimes those horses with earmuffs just take a little bit of switching on when they need to. So I think Grant Alana still have that up their sleeve, given the sense that he now appears to be relaxing much better in his races. As you rightly mentioned, Rylie, he does have the tendency to over-race, but it's been a while since he's done that, so perhaps they take them off now and we might see him travel into the races a little bit better.
And just one more I wanted to touch on as well yesterday in that race, Marty. I thought the run of Ollie's Choice back there on the fence, which was clearly the inferior ground. This is a horse who we've spoken about a couple of quite quirky horses on the program this morning. This is certainly one of those as well, but I thought his run there yesterday, I think it was his third start for the Pierce stable, was outstanding.
There are a few really good runs in this race. I think this will stack up as a reasonable form reference, despite there only being 2.3 lengths between first and eighth, but you just wouldn't want to be taking a really short price about some of these horses. You look at the names like Leniency, Featherweight, Flying Missile, Cashaway. They're really honest Saturday grade horses. They just need their right setups and they'll go around at reasonable prices. Keep an eye on all of them. They won't be far away next start.
Race number 12, the Petaluma Handicap. It was over the 1,400 metres to round it out.
Lad pulls out deeper and further back. Brave Venture in the middle, just having to steady up off heels. Near the inside, Secret Identity, Fluoro Neuro, then wide on the course, Mojo's Luck. Then further back behind them came Probity, Blazing Tycoon, without Reg getting up near the rail at the 250 and Keep Attacking. Got the head in front. It's Keep Attacking. Birdie Eagle battling back. He's gold. Here comes Fluoro Neuro. It's Keep Attacking. Fluoro Neuro charging down the outside near the rails. The Spruker's getting through. The Spruker's got right up on the inside to join both Keep Attacking and Birdie Eagle, and I think the Spruker might have just got there in the last bound with Fluoro Neuro deep.
Got up the Spruker for Wolfie and Tash Faithful. Tell us about the last race of the day.
Well, at this stage of the day, the riders were keen to get off the fence, and this allowed the Spruker to get up along the inside, settled along the fence, three back the fence, in fact, and from there, Tash just kept poking her way through along the rail, whipping the left hand in the concluding stages. Great to see a result for Tash and Wolfie, for a horse that has been a great horse for the stable. He's won nearly over 700,000 now in prize money, so he's been great for connections. How many more wins he has in him, I'm not sure, but clearly the team is still having some fun with him and he's still going to run some honest races and hopefully there's another one in him.
Yeah, it was a funny race there, the last one, Marty. I thought it was one of the only races on the day where the horses that were settling the first half of the field on the corner, they were the back half were almost a bit detached and you didn't want to be on those. They were almost too far back and the pattern of the day said otherwise, but no, it was a good win, especially defying that pattern, three back the fence, Spruker.
So tempo related?
I think so. I think so.
There were some horses, out wide that were still kicking. I love the run of Keep Attacking, albeit was wide and they didn't go all that hard, but I just feel
it's also four deep, no cover.
Yeah, true. My bad. Four deep, no cover. Sorry, Keep Attacking. I just feel that run can suggest to the camp that he's a horse that's better suited ridden on speed. I still think his best win to date when under the care of Todd Harvey was when he settled outside the lead, 1,200 at Pinjarra with the blinkers on. I think he's just a horse that appreciates a bit of galloping room, just absorbing pressure on speed and then breaking their hearts, because the figure that he produced on that day still rates really, really well. 1,400 metres with a barrier next start and ridden on speed with a rider like Matty Derrick aboard. I think he's a horse to follow as well.
On Racing Rewind, it is time for the boys to look back and determine who are the black bookers, the ones to be on next start, the horses to follow.
Horses to follow for me, as I just said, Keep Attacking, better suited being able to roll on speed. Kinnelan's Legacy will break a 2,000 metre plus maiden very, very soon. Even money, $3. Get on next start. My Hidden Universe won't be a maiden for much longer either. And Uncle Jared, eligible for easier. Jason Pateman has him absolutely flying.
Yep, doubling down My Hidden Universe, absolutely. Three more for me. Ollie's Choice. This horse has his quirks, but I thought that was a terrific run there yesterday and a run that maybe he's back in the best version of himself. Red 53 going to follow a winner there. I thought that this horse is absolutely flying, is going to win more races and Keep Attacking from that final race there yesterday as well.
Bix. And good luck to Pete and all the team with the Greyhounds of the Year award tonight. Thanks for coming in. Thanks to Soph and have a good day.